digital arena, on the app, on your smartphone, on ads, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Basketball and more.
The Donut Bag presented by the Sportscast.
The Donut Bag, hosted by Joey Toscano. And here's your host, Joey Toscano.
Going on, everybody? Welcome to the Donut Bag podcast, part of the Sportscast Network. Welcome to everybody joining us live. If you want to join in on the conversation, you can join us on the YouTube channel. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. Someone that has frequently commented on the YouTube channel is now with me. Dave, what's going on?
Doing good, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
I hope we have people that comment now, because you're one of the main people that comment. It's like, well, now the commenter is, now you've jumped over to the other side. We need other people to comment. Come
to the podcast side.
Right. I gotta see. I think there's a way to comment on Twitter. I don't know. We'll see. I got that would be really cool, because most of the people are watching this on Twitter. So anyway, let's talk Steelers. So the draft was about a week and a half ago, and now we're still waiting for this freaking Aaron Rodgers. I'm so sick of this. What is going on here? I heard he got married. Hey, congratulations, I guess.
Sure. I mean, honestly, that's a great thing. We hope. And good for him. But yeah, I mean, honestly, he's keeping a lot of sports writers in business. Because for the Steelers, if he did sign, I mean, right now, there's really nothing to talk about until, I mean, I think this week is rookie training camp, right?
Rookie OTA start.
Rookie OTAs, which is basically, here's the playbook, and let's do something without hitting each other. And everyone will go crazy because, oh my goodness, did you see the throw that Will Howard did? Oh my goodness, he's the next Ben. He's amazing. He's going to be great. Calm down. He's a 6th round draft pick. Probably should have been a 4th from everything I'm reading, but he's not going to be. He may be, probably not your next franchise. Calm down.
Let's talk about how it's Howardmania running wild.
It is.
People, just like you just said, Dave, he's a 6th round draft pick. And I swear to God, if anybody says, well, Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick, yeah, so were like 300 other people that did not work out. So that's not, just because it happened one time doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, man, this is how starved we are. This is all Aaron Rodgers' fault. Well, actually, this is all Kenny Pickett's fault. But this is all because all we got is Mason, and people are relatively happy with Mason. Okay, cool. But we got this new shiny toy. Oh my God, we have somebody younger than 40 years old. Hallelujah. Oh my God.
But not only that, we have someone where most people are only seeing the highlight reels.
Right. People
are not seeing years of him playing at Ohio State. They see, oh, we're going to watch a 3-minute TikTok of all of his best plays, or we're going to see John Gruden absolutely crazy over a guy that he had at his quarterback camp. I'm not saying he isn't legitimately, he may not be, but Gruden, especially for say, he's like, here's a guy I had at my camp, and they go, oh, he's so great. Of course, he's going to pump him up. It's marketing.
He's pumping up his camp. Hello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, this is not saying he's going to be bad. It was I think it was, especially in the 6th round, it was a good pick for the Steelers. If he's a complete bust, may not be, but let's say he's a complete bust. That's a 6th round draft pick.
Yeah, you're really not losing anything.
Exactly. 6th and 7th round draft picks are kind of, hey, I have a good feeling about this person. We'll give it a try. Yeah. You don't expect anyone in the 6th or 7th round to start or have significant playing time their first year, other than maybe special teams. If you get a special teams person, then
If he was that good, he wouldn't have gone in the 6th round, people.
true.
There has to be flaws there, and yeah, it's exciting, and who knows what could happen. But guys, he's not like if Will Howard is playing any games during the regular season, something went horribly wrong. Okay,
There's some kind of injury or something,
like a plane crash or some horrific injuries or something going on.
Well, I mean, we all remember 2 years ago with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What was it? 15 seconds and he was out for the year.
Right. Yeah. So I put up a poll. I just said, if Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback, would you be happy? 56.7% said no. People are not happy about this happening. Now, this could all change if he starts winning games. Cool. That'll turn some people around. And I think people are really turned off by this whole, not signing yet, because the way the Steelers are acting, they're acting like it's a done deal that he's coming. Yeah. It's just a matter of time. But to the national media, to fans, it's a bad look.
It's a bad look, but you know what though? He's a veteran. A conditioning, if he's still not here by definitely training camp, panic.
Yeah.
But if he signed before then, it's a conditioning thing, especially since he's still, it was a major injury 2 years ago. And when you get to be over 40, major injuries take a long time to heal. But this is not a rookie. This is someone who should be able to pick up a playbook pretty quickly. And hopefully, I think there's two things going against Aaron Rodgers in the mind of a lot of Steelers right now, Steeler fans right now, beyond the will he sign, won't he sign. They remember all the stuff he did with the Jets last year, where it was like, I need if I only get my bestest friend wide receiver, everything's going to be great. It wasn't great. Well, I need this. Okay, you got it. It didn't work out. That wasn't good. I think that hurt. And the fact that last year we had another former Super Bowl winning quarterback who had 2 years ago had a bad year. The previous year statistically was okay. And we said, look, if Russell Wilson just does what he did in Denver, in Pittsburgh with the touchdown to interception ratio, and yes, he's not the player he was, it's going to be so much better than Kenny Pickett. And last year was better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of there was that massive fall off at the end of the year for probably multiple reasons. But people are like, are we just going to have Russell Wilson again, where he's going to come in, may get injured in training camp? However, Russell Wilson got injured, hopefully not doing the stupid drill like the rumor was. But
if they make Aaron Rodgers push tackling sleds, we got a big problem.
Oh, seriously. But I mean, people are like, we did this last year. Are we going to have a repeat where it's going to be another Band-Aid? And I hate to say the answer is this way, but looking at the quarterback draft the class this year, there was no long-term answer.
Exactly.
So
it was a weak year for quarterbacks. That didn't stop every single mock draft from saying, well, the Steelers are definitely getting Shedeur Sanders, you know. But like every local person, anybody in the know says, like, we know we're getting a defensive line. Yeah. They didn't do anything with defensive line. They desperately need one. They're getting defensive line, but that didn't stop the national people from saying, oh, you got to get a quarterback. And because I mean, a lot of people just don't understand what's going on. And hey, I remember when this first happened, and Rodgers didn't sign it, and I said it was ridiculous, and he was quote unquote holding them hostage and stuff. He's not holding them hostage. The way Tomlin talks, the way Rooney talks, the way Omar Khan talks, they consider this a done deal, and it's just hey, whenever you show up. So let's look at what the dates are. Okay, so rookie mini camp is May 9th to 11th. obviously that's just for the rookies. Okay.
Right.
I believe it's the voluntary OTAs are May 27th to June 12th.
Okay.
I think that's just voluntary. So it's
Hold
possible.
on, we gotta say voluntary with the air.
Right.
It's voluntary. It's kind of
Get
like
your butt in here.
Yeah, it's kind of like for the rest of us at a normal work. Oh, we're having a voluntary day. If you don't show up, though, we got your eye out. We got your eye.
Right.
We can't personally do anything, but we see you. Yeah. In fact, I was just scanning the news before we got on just to see if there was any late breaking anything, because you never know. It happened. It's happened on your podcast. Stuff has happened in the middle of a podcast. And from Sports Illustrated. So I know they're not as good as they used to be, SI, because of changes of who they own them. But and the funny thing is they're quoting Mark, I'm going to get his name wrong.
Mark Kaboli.
Kaboli, yeah. On 93.7. So basically someone heard him on the radio and they're reporting this in Sports Illustrated. He said he will put pen to paper before mandatory minicamp June 10th to 12th.
Yeah, mandatory is June 10th, 11th, 12th.
Right.
So yeah. And it's like you said, he's a veteran. He probably has the playbook right now. He probably, I mean, I would like him to be there, but we'll see. And
also,
then
I would like him under contract if they do give him the playbook, or if they hopefully get him to sign something if they do give him a playbook.
Right. Right. I don't want
because you don't want that playbook getting out.
I don't want him showing pages of the playbook on the Pat McAfee show. It's like, hey, look at this, guys. Look at
yeah. I mean, that is something to think about, is that you sign Aaron Rodgers, he will be on McAfee show every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think 2 years ago it gave a lot of people bad taste because of the injury. And last year, I don't think it was 100. Admittedly, the Jets weren't a good team, but they were not going to do good in that division with the Bills in it.
But it's like you said, it's not just it wasn't just him. It was that they gave him control of the team. They said they basically said, okay, you want to bring your friends? Go bring your friends. That makes you happier. Go bring your friends. Meanwhile, there were other. Garrett Wilson is a very good wide receiver, and Aaron Rodgers basically said, "Screw you. I'm going to play with my friends."
Yeah,
and that's not happening here.
No,
the roster is set except for one dude. So it's not like you're bringing your buddies over, and they just they let him fire the coach, and that's not happening here. So it's I mean, and the Jets are just the Jets and the Browns are just joke organizations. So that won't happen here. He'll basically just be like on any sitcom when there's a special guest appearance or something like that. He's just making a special guest appearance this year.
Yeah, everyone knows it's going to be 1 year.
It just makes me laugh that they didn't even think about bringing back Russell Wilson because we don't like that he didn't totally agree with the offensive coordinator, and he wanted to do his own thing, and he wanted to do audibles, and he wanted to run his own plays and stuff. What do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do? You think Aaron Rodgers is going to listen to you? Like, what do we do? That's just that was just the funniest thing. Like, man, they must have really hated that guy because there were no options, and they said, "I don't care if you're the last quarterback on earth. We do not want you, Russell Wilson."
Yeah, which really shocks me. It kind of shocks me. But I also wonder with Aaron Rodgers, there's been this flirtatious on and off with him and Tomlin for over a decade.
Right.
Just kind of, hey, yeah.
Whenever they play each other, they're like winking at each other. Like, hey, babe.
Yeah.
Like they're in a bar at 1:30 in the morning and on a Saturday night and trying to hook up or something like hey, and and we've heard these rumors for years now. It's like Aaron Rodgers is coming over. It's like, oh my goodness. And it's just funny. It's just funny. It's just. I mean, it's also cute, but it's just funny. I just want to see Aaron Rodgers go to Permanis or or eat pierogies or something. You know what? He's probably never had a pierogi in his life. He probably eats like alfalfa sprouts or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
although he was in Green Bay for 20 years.
He was in all those Green Bay years, but I don't know how much Green Bay he was. There are people who stay there a long time, and they're like, like Ben is Pittsburgh. Ben lives in Pittsburgh. He's a Pittsburgh guy now. I mean, he was still Ohio when he grew up, but still, or like Sidney Crosby with hockey. Sid's a Pittsburgh guy.
Right.
And then you have people like AB, who, before whatever happened to him, okay, he still was not, he never seemed like, he didn't seem like a Yinzer Pittsburgh guy.
The only Pittsburgh thing I ever heard him do was go 100 miles an hour on McKnight Road. Remember that?
Yeah.
But it's impressive, actually. Depending on what part of McKnight Road it is, man.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
you go fast on that part of the road, and that gets pretty crowded. But Tony Brown was not. He did nothing related to Pittsburgh. But.
No.
So yeah,
but I mean,
we will see.
But I also think the reason why there's not a panic, unlike they should have been panicking last year with the wide receivers, is they think they have a fallback plan. Mason will be a decent enough quarterback, even if he's not what he was the final 3 games that got us into the playoffs a couple years ago. If he's just, I hate to put it this way, if he's better than Kenny Pickett was for those 2 years, we're good.
Well, let's look at this. So let's just compare the team now to what it was last year.
Okay.
So with the quarterbacks, if assuming Aaron Rodgers is there, I think you're about even between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year. The running backs are supposed to be better because Najee Harris was not a fit for this offense. And now you have that 3rd round draft pick, Caleb Johnson and Jaylen Warren. So that should be an upgrade. The offensive line should be an upgrade. Now, that's all depending on Broderick Jones, and that scares the crap out of me because I have a feeling he's going to be bust. But if he's not, if he plays well, that could be the potential to be a good offensive line.
And that depends also 100% on everyone staying healthy, because there is no margin of error on that offensive line.
Exactly, and they didn't really draft anybody or get anybody either. So that's right. It's like nobody can get hurt.
They could get someone when other teams cut people as a back. This guy's been in the league for 6 years. This person will be a drop off from any one of our starters, but it won't be a complete disaster. Maybe that's what they're looking for. But exactly. But if you look at NFL teams these days, everyone has one area that's exceptionally thin on. Unfortunately, ours is O-line. Last year it was wide receiver. Because they couldn't sign that second wide receiver in the offseason. It was like, okay, we got Pickens and a bunch of should be decent wide receivers, but if Pickens goes down, we don't have anyone who could do much.
And he went down, and it basically sunk the team. And that was just such a huge mistake by Omar Khan. And I know I'm 99% sure they thought they had Brandon Ayuk. I think they were certain he was coming. which is scary because there's certain Aaron Rodgers is coming. So
I think
that's
difference,
a little scary.
the people they were looking at last year for wide receiver, because there was someone else they were looking for once Ayuk didn't go, that they were sure they were signing, and then he got injured that week. But
Christian Kirk, yeah.
Yeah. But it was like, well, those are trades, though. This is someone who literally, with Rodgers, it's Pittsburgh or retirement.
Right.
You know, with Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't play for the Steelers, he's not playing. There's nowhere. There's nowhere. Yeah, no one else wants him. There's nowhere for him to go. So it's literally retire.
His only other option is, I'm going to hang out on the beach, and when some quarterback gets hurt, I'll jump on that team. That's his only other option.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. So the wide receivers are much better. DK Metcalf, George Pickens, and so they're much better.
Assuming they don't go berserk every other play.
You know, I don't think George Pickens is going to be a problem because DK Metcalf
contract year for him too.
But well, yeah, that's true. Well, a normal person would say it's my contract year. I better behave. Not George Pickens, but anyway, my theory is Pickens is not going to act up because DK Metcalf is basically the Incredible Hulk. And do you want to piss off that guy? He will throw you on the ground like a rag doll. That is a large, muscular human being. I do not want to make that guy angry. The defense, I think, would be better. They just go spend a first round draft pick on defensive line. So the defensive line should be better. Hopefully Cam Hayward can stay healthy. The outside linebackers got a little bit better. The inside linebackers are basically the same. The secondary got this Darius Slay. He's supposed to be good for 1 year. He's, even though he's almost as old as Aaron Rodgers, but okay, he's supposed to be good. So overall, the team is supposed to be better. So even if Aaron Rodgers does play and he gets hurt and Mason comes in, I think they'll still be okay.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think the one thing that for Steelers fans should scare you is, first of all, if you're ranking the 4 teams in the division, the Ravens are still number 1 by far.
Yeah.
I mean, unless something weird happens, they should be, they should win the division. The Browns will be a complete cluster.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, 6 quarterbacks. It's going to be fun to watch.
I used to play with Transformers, and there was one where it was like 5 Constructicons into one, and it formed one big thing. Maybe they're going to take all the quarterbacks and mash them together and form one large, gigantic.
We're going to get a Voltron, or we're going to get Voltron.
We're going to get Voltron. Yeah,
but yeah, it's going to be bad. But the funny thing is, I'm seeing the 2026 draft talk already. And they're already talking about Cleveland may be taking a quarterback next year.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
you take 2 quarterbacks 1 year and another one the next year, though.
You know what? That's just, let's just keep drafting quarterbacks until something happens. There was one mock draft that had the Steelers taking a running back. Like, no, we're taking a quarterback, people. Yeah. I don't care where we're drafting. We are taking a quarterback. If the Steelers don't draft a quarterback in Pittsburgh, as the draft is in Pittsburgh, and they don't draft the quarterback, there will be riots.
Oh yeah. And especially next year, let's say they end up 21 again, 19-20. Yeah. They have all those compensatory picks. Now, I know you can't trade a compensatory pick, but you can trade your other 3rd and 4th round picks to go from maybe 19 to 10. Right. Remember, Ben was chosen at they were 10 or 11 that year in the draft. Ben was the
Yeah.
third quarterback taken that year.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to be number 1, number 2 to get a really good franchise quarterback. You can be 5 to 15 probably. Somewhere around there. And depending on who comes out next year, who stays, there's going to be a lot more quarterbacks next year. So like you said, it's going to be better. My concern is, what if Cincinnati plays just that little bit better defense next year, where they're still going to score 45, but now instead of giving up 46, they're going to give up 42. They're going to rock it up, because Cincinnati's offense, you're going to have to score.
It's elite.
It's elite, but their defense is, no. I know they drafted, but it's still. So in terms of where the Steelers end up, they're going to split with the Ravens, because it's Steelers Ravens. They could go 3-3 in the division next year, just because division games are so weird. And we know that there's always a chance they're going to go Cleveland, and Cleveland's going to be like, this is our big game of the year. We're going to beat them no matter what.
It's their Super Bowl, and it's
is
going to be in November, and it's going to rain or snow. It's going to be the worst weather possible, and the Browns are going to win 7-6, and they're probably going to throw a parade or something. It's every year that way.
I really could you imagine if Kenny Pickett is the one to lead them against the Steelers and win?
That would be the funniest thing ever. That would be the funniest thing ever.
I should correct myself, because I see a lot of people who are doing comedy gets Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett.
Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl champion. Yeah.
Yep.
I could see the Steelers Browns game going as Shedeur Sanders starts it, but then at halftime he decides to hold like an hour-long press conference, and he forgets that to come in the rest of the game, and then Kenny Pickett plays the second half and like leads them to victory or something like that, and people will just go insane. Honestly, you know what? I'm 90% sure of this. I think I saw Kenny Pickett at the Pittsburgh Marathon. I think he was like one of the spectators. He kind of had long hair. I almost said something, but like as a Pitt fan, I am conflicted, because the Pitt fan in me loves Kenny Pickett because he was like the second best quarterback ever. The Steelers fan in me hates his freaking guts. So, if I did have something to say to him, I would say, thank you for your stuff at Pitt, but screw you for what you did with the Steelers. Anyway, well, so that's all we have to look forward to, is when is Aaron Rodgers going to sign, and you know what I'm surprised they haven't done is at rookie OTAs have a ceremony of us watching them fill out their W-2 forms or something like that. Or what is it? The I-9, whatever it is that
W2.
That form when you first
W2.
It was the W-2 forms. Yeah. I mean,
so you can do so you can fill out your deductions for the year and everything else.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, all the draft is an organizational meeting where you're announcing which of your members are going to each of your branches. That's all the NFL draft is, and they made it a spectacle where tens of millions of people are watching. So why not? Let's have them fill out forms.
I give them now, if you want to see something funny, look at the drafts from the early 70s and see how they were run.
It was
Pete Rozelle writing stuff on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
And it was literally, or I remember the other thing the NFL made into a big production was the combine.
Right.
Let's get guys out here to run
running
40-yard
underwear.
Yeah, let's get people out here doing 40-yard dashes. Let's get offensive linemen out here running 40 yards and without helmets, without pads, and see how they do. Oh,
if you're offensive lineman,
Yeah.
is running 40 yards at any play during the game, something went horribly wrong. We're talking like your first, second, third, and fourth string quarterbacks are done, and it was like, well, let's just give the ball to the right guard or something like that. Like if your offense, that is the dumbest thing. It's just so silly.
I mean, because the most they're going to run is side to side for the most part.
Right.
An offensive lineman.
Right.
They're not going to run straight. They're going to run around or side to side throwing blocks, unless it's an interception. They're trying to tackle the person returning the interception. Which in that case, I don't, things already broke down. I don't care, or they, it's like, oh, this person's long jump is this much, and their high jump is this much, and their ability to this is this. Oh, let's look at them throw passes from backup quarterbacks and see how they can run routes and everything. And
I just love that they're
it's such a big thing now.
I just love when they say, oh, this player really did well at the combine. He's shooting up the draft boards. Like, really? Here's a crazy idea. How about we look at what he actually did during games? Like, that's, I think, seriously, I think that's why Will Howard actually got drafted in the 6th round, because he did poorly at the combine. He did poorly at the combine because he spent so much time actually winning the championships and playing in playoff games for like a month. When it counted the most, the dude did awesome. That should count for something, not because he did poorly in some combine workout or something.
You know what though? I mean, like I said, the NFL has done, it's an amazing thing. I mean, the fact that they also have the draft moving from city to city now, that was brilliant.
Right.
Instead of being in New York City all that time.
That smoke-filled room was just in New York City, and that's it.
Even when they had fans come in, it was still, even when they made it, still they had the fans in the. It was
like a dozen drunk Jets fans, and anytime the Jets would pick, they would go crazy. Whatever the pick was, usually they would be really mad, and usually they were right because the Jets picked horribly, but. It's and now 500,000 people show up. It is now, like, do you want to go when it's in Pittsburgh next year?
I won't go. Just
that
because
sounds like torture.
No, it does not sound good. But someone will be making a ton of money because someone's probably going to rent out their house for the week and get buku bucks.
I'm kind of close to downtown. I can make some money off of this.
Well, I know that just because. Oh, go ahead.
Did you see that people are renting their houses for the U.S. Open that's in Oakmont this year?
I was going to mention that. I was going to mention
$50,000-$75,000.
Yeah.
Hey, if someone wants to give me $50,000, you could just have the house for the year. I don't care. I'll go to a hotel. I'll go to my sister's house or something. I don't care. If you're giving me that kind of money, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Now, I also
have my dog.
Sophie's looking at you now.
I know.
But now I'll say this: I know those houses where they're renting them out, probably, or I know the area around there. I'm not that far away in Verona. Okay, they're nice those houses are like $1 million homes,
right?
These are big, expensive houses up there. And but still $50,000 for a week. So I could see someone, renting houses or renting lease someone who has an apartment downtown. If you have an apartment downtown, you're like, hey, do you want to rent my apartment for $10,000 for the week? You're there.
Right.
I think of how much
all
hotels
those places in the strip district is just like not too far away. So yeah. I'm not going anywhere near that. That just sounds just standing there for hours.
Well, that's the other thing. It just doesn't sound.
No.
No.
I don't care what you do. It's just some dude coming out and reading names. There's just no, sorry.
Yeah.
Now
And also there's Green Bay was smaller this year than Detroit was last year, just because Green Bay's a much smaller city.
Yeah.
And just knowing where they're planning on having it, the north side by the stadiums is not that large of an area.
Where are they going to have it?
I think they're going to have it pretty much on the lawn by the stadium, and have more things.
That's not very big.
No, even if they have, I mean, the other option is to have it at Point State Park, but they don't have anything on. But they only have stuff on the city side these days.
Okay.
They don't have it on the other side because because that's all tree and wooded and everything else. So that would have to be on the city side. And you could put it there.
You know what? It's right along the river. So you could have it you could still have a ton of people in Point State Park and have like giant video boards or something like that. So because that would make sense.
It's kind of like bringing in something else. It's kind of like going to WrestleMania. If you're going to WrestleMania, you're not going to see the action with your own eyes. You're looking at the screen because you're that far away. If you're at the draft, unless you're like up there, you're looking at a screen somewhere. Also, it's the weather in Pittsburgh. Who knows what it's going to be like?
Oh my God! What if
it could be hot? It could be snow and cold. It could be sleet. It could be torrential downpours.
What if it snows? It could. It could. End of April. Heck yeah, it could snow.
God, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That would be a mess. Oh, not even snow. If it's like 20 degrees or something like that, that would just suck. It's just gonna. And did you see that? Like this summer, basically, so many things are shut down because they're getting ready for the draft. Like there's no fountain at Point State Park. There's all kinds of construction downtown to get ready for this thing.
Which, you know what though, I like the idea because what they're doing isn't just for the draft.
Right.
It's going to help for the draft, but it's not going to be like a lot of times I'm not comparing the draft to the Olympics, but you see some cities are like, we're building the Olympic Village. Oh, and then 2 weeks after the Olympics is over, just tear it all down. We only build it for like 3 weeks worth of work. Because I know like the last thing that really happened down Point State Park was the marathon and the post-race area where, for those who don't know, when you run the marathon and you finish, or the half marathon, or what, when you finish there, you go and then the Boulevard of the Allies, and then you work your way down to Point State Park for the festival, and it's all on the city side. And this is the last thing before they shut it down for the year while they work on it. So the marathon was the very last thing, because that's why the arts festival is going to be somewhere else this year. It's not going to be down at the Point, because like I said, it's all construction. The place where the Goodyear used to be, by the convention center, that just got torn down, that's going to be an open air park that they're going to use for draft things. But again, it's going to stay afterwards and be useful. So that is one thing I kind of hope that, and the other good thing with it, the draft being, if you have people by the stadium downtown, the subway does run between the two, and it's free. And it's normally free, so they don't have to do. So that will help people get back and forth as long as there's no breakdowns. What happened last Sunday right before the marathon.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh my God.
Yeah, the subway coming in from the South Hills, there was a problem and it was overnight,
Oh,
like an
boy.
out, because remember the tunnels shut down for the subway, so they had to go over top through Allentown,
Oh,
and there
no.
was an issue. Well, I parked at the First Avenue garage,
Okay.
thinking, oh, it's only 3/4 of a mile walk, or I can just hop on the T. T was shut down,
Oh, man.
but there were people stuck on the T out somewhere in the South Hills who couldn't make it to the marathon or was late.
Bad timing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So hopefully they got everything worked out. And I'm also hoping they have contingency plans for next year. It
Right.
isn't a matter of, well, here's what's going to happen. It should be, here's what's going to happen. If this breaks, this is what we have for backup. If this breaks, this is what we have for backup.
Right.
Because Detroit went great. Green Bay went great. You know, I didn't hear any major issues. The one thing you don't want to have is, oh, these were great. It went to Pittsburgh and
Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. It's going to be crazy. All right. I got to get going. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
This is great. Notice we got no comments because you were on this other side. So hey, thanks so much for coming on, Al. I'll see you.
See you later.
Nope. Wrong button.